Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Come on in. It is a rainy day today, so I thought I would do a little bit of an impromptu live. We're going to be going over how to build sustainably healthy habits today. I also am live streaming. I am recording for my YouTube channel as well. So if you aren't able to watch, this will also be posted on my other channels, and I will link there on how to watch those moving forward. But so excited to talk about this topic today. So without further ado, let's get into it because this is something that I constantly get asked. So the first thing I want to go over, and I have my notepad here so we don't forget anything, but building sustainably healthy habits is a very general term. So you first have to decide the very first thing you need to do is honestly just picking your goal, but picking the goal because you want to, not because you have to. So this is the most crucial thing because a lot of the times we set goals because we think we think other people are doing them, and we feel like, okay, because this person's working out 5 times a week, or this person's focusing on this sort of goal, then I should be doing it. And that's probably the worst thing that you can do, because if you focus on your goals because other people are doing it, then it's going to defeat the whole purpose. You're not going to have motivation. You are probably going to give up, and you're also going to feel, just discouraged throughout the journey because you're not actually working on something that is true and authentic to you. So what I want you to do is I want you to go and write down, the top 3 goals that you have in your health. So whether that be, a physique transformation, whether that be specific habits that you want to work on, I want you to take a notepad out like I have right now and go ahead and write those top 2 to 3 goals down. Once you have those written out, you are going to then write why next to each goal, but you are going to write why 3 times. So rather than just the surface level why of, oh, it might make me feel better, you really need to get deep into the root reason that you want this goal, because that is what is going to be that motivation that's going to help you down the line moving forward whenever you don't have that motivation. And then throughout this journey, the big thing with, setting these goals and doing it because you want to, not because you should or have to, you need to look at the language that you're using. So be really super cautious of using the words should and have to. If we should ourselves into action and tell ourselves we have to do something or should do something, it is going to remove all the fun from it. You are just going to feel like a prisoner to this goal. You're going to feel like it's a chore, it's out of your control, and like someone's making you do it. And, I don't know about you, but I don't like being made to do things. I like being able to do things because of my own, autonomy and what I've decided to do. So that is super crucial. Go ahead and write down your goal and write why you have that goal 3 times to get to the root cause, and then watch out for the language as to why you're deciding to move forward with these habits. The second thing that is, kind of a taper off from number one, is having a why besides our physique goal. So often when people come to me, my one-on-one clients, or just talking to people in my DMs, and they tell me that, they have a goal and their goal is to, let's say, lose 15 pounds or have a certain physique transformation. When I ask them why, a lot of the times it can be that surface level answer of, I just, want to lose weight. I want to fit better in my clothes. And while that's totally great and something that we, would want to strive for, it's also important to look at, why do you want to focus on these sustainable habits outside of the physique transformation? Because at the end of the day, if you want sustainability and if you want to turn this into a lifestyle change rather than just a quick fix, rather than just something that's going to, get you to that goal and then you might fall off afterwards, then we need to have a real reason aside from just achieving that physical outcome. Because if we achieve that physical outcome, then what happens afterwards, right? Well, okay, I've lost the weight. Okay, I've gotten, my body to look a certain way. What now? And then we might get there and we might, stop working towards these habits because we've already achieved that goal. So the why that you have should really come down to, what is this going to bring you in your life outside of just the physique transformation? So is that more energy to play with your kids? Is that, being more present? Is it, if your goal is to have a healthier relationship with food, is that, not having anxiety or stress or overwhelm in these social situations? And why is that important to you? So having that why besides the physical transformation is what is going to bring you back and center you when you are feeling discouraged and you're not feeling like things are going your way. Okay, number 3. So this is also very important. It's only doing 2 to 3 habits at once. Hey, Rebecca. Um, only doing 2 to 3 habits at once, because otherwise our brains just simply cannot handle doing so much at once. So whenever I take on a one-on-one client, I do a full week assessment with them. I take a look at their sleep routines, I take a look at their nutrition, their movement, their screen time, what things are taking and giving their energy right now, how much they're walking. We look at a full holistic audit of what they're doing. But if when I do an onboarding call, I would never, let's just, name a client Megan, okay? I would never say, "Hey Megan, let's go focus on every single one of these things right now and let's fix them." Because the fact of the matter is, you might have a lot of motivation at the beginning and you might be like, yeah, like let's do it. But then after 3 or 4 weeks, life gets in the way. Summer's crazy. You're going to have a lot of social events, and then it's going to be really hard to focus on everything. And that's just going to make it really hard on your mental health, because you're going to feel like you gave up, you didn't hit the goal that you had set out, and it's not going to elicit the motivation and the sustainability that we want. So when you are picking your 2 to 3 habits, they need to align with the goal. What is your goal? And what are my 2 to 3 habits that are going to make the biggest difference for me right now and impact that's conducive to my end goal? So, for example, if you are really wanting to just have a better relationship with food, not stress anymore around food, not if you're someone that tends to skip meals, but then you might binge or feel like you lose control from food at night, then a couple habits you might want to start putting in place are eating consistently throughout the day. So having consistent meal times, meal prepping would be another one. And then maybe sleep, because you might overeat and feel irritable and then lose control over food because you're tired. And so those might be the 2 to 3 habits that you would focus on at first that are going to be the most conducive to that goal and that outcome that you want. Okay. So making sure you're throughout this process, if you're watching this and it's alive and you want to come back to it, it's going to be posted, like I said, but you want to make sure you're taking out a notepad, and I want you to go through each step. Make sure you're writing all of these things down just so you can create this plan for you. And this is exactly what I do in my one-on-one coaching with my one-on-one clients. I walk them through the audit. I walk them through the habits that are going to be the most conducive to their goals. And I give them that custom plan based on their lifestyle and their goal that they need to focus on. It's not a cookie cutter. So if that's something you are interested in, you can always send me a DM. You can comment in this live and comment ready, or send me the DM with the word ready, and we'll talk about creating a custom plan for you. But let's go into step number 4. So step number 4 is identifying your triggers and making a plan. So what do I mean by a trigger? There are, nervous system triggers that elicit a stress response where we get into this fight or flight mode. And then there are triggers that might just be you going away on vacation and coming back, and you didn't have time keeping up with the meal prepping example. You didn't have time to meal prep because you normally meal prep on Sundays, but you just went away and you got back late Sunday night. Like, what do I do? So if you come back from that weekend and you don't follow through on the plan that you had, that is okay. That's great. Actually, it's positive, because we can take that as a learning experience. Understand that when you go away on weekends, that's typically what gets in the way of you achieving your goal and your habit. And how do we make a plan for next time? So an example might be, if my meal prep days are Sunday, whenever I'm going away on vacation, I'm always going to order my groceries before so that they're ready to be picked up, or I'm going to do grocery delivery. Or I'm just going to rearrange my schedule and I'm going to, do my groceries Monday night. And then maybe Monday I am just buying food for lunch, and I'm okay with that, because that is my plan B. And that's my plan for that trigger when I can't do that habit that I wanted to. Number 5 for building sustainable, healthy habits is making sure that your environment is set up for success. So I mean your physical environment. I also mean the people that you're surrounding yourself with and the situations that you put yourself in. If you have a ton of friends that, for example, always eat out, and maybe you're a part of a really big party group, and that's how you often communicate and hang out, that might not be the most conducive environment for your success. And therefore, we need to either communicate to our friends or we need to kind of come up with different plans of how you can hang out with these friends outside of those things, because that's not always going to be conducive to your goal. And I'm not saying you can't go out. I'm not saying you can't eat. Absolutely, these are things that we want to be doing for the sustainability and for the lifestyle aspect to have enjoyment. But we also need to look at, well, the why, and going back to step one and saying, this is so important to me because of this really root, deep seated thing that I want. And sometimes I'm okay with giving up these external, environmental things that aren't always going to be conducive to my goal. And so finally, number 6 is getting support and having accountability. So like I said, in my one-on-one coaching, I provide all this accountability, all this support, and you also get, the ability to be a part of an amazing group of women from all my clients. But I also have a free Facebook group. If you just want to be a part of a community, I will link it below when I share this post so that you can start to surround yourself with people with similar goals. But you can even enroll your friends, enroll your family, and really just ask people to keep you accountable. One of my favorite ways to do this is if you're living with someone, maybe you have a friend or you have a partner, you can actually go into an accountability contract with them. So it might seem like overkill, but literally print out a piece of paper, writing out what you're committing to doing each week or putting a timeline-based goal on it, and actually signing your name and have the other person sign it for you as a witness. This is something that I believe I heard in the Atomic Habits book, and it's so amazing. It's something I always suggest to my clients because the act of writing it out, the act of getting someone else involved, especially if you're someone where you don't like to let people down, you like to, like just make sure that you're following through when other people are enrolled with you, that is a really awesome way to hold yourself accountable. And it's also important to recognize that you can't rely only on the other person to hold you accountable. So if you have a gym buddy, if you have someone that you're asking to go to the gym with, if they don't show up, you need to hold them accountable because it's a two-way street. And you also need to have, again, a plan B, which would go back to step 4 of your trigger. So understanding that when my friend doesn't come to the gym with me, I don't go to the gym, then I need to have a plan to make sure that that doesn't happen moving forward. So we went through, 6 steps. I'm just going to summarize them all on how to build these sustainable, healthy habits. So number 1, doing it because you want to, not because you have to. Number 2, making sure you're having a why besides a physical goal. Number 3, only picking 2 to 3 habits at once. So making sure you're not overloading your system and allowing yourself to actually ingrain these habits into your lifestyle without, going full force and then giving up after a few weeks. Number 4, making sure you understand your triggers. So identifying when you tend to, not follow through on your habits and making a plan A and plan B for when those things happen. Number 5, making sure you are setting your environment up for success. So being a part of a community, you can reach out, DM me the word ready for my one-on-one coaching. You can join my free Facebook group, and really just setting up your environment and communicating with your friends. And number 6, finally, the support and accountability. So you can enter it into a habit contract. You can, again, join my free Facebook group. You can ask your friends for support, and you can hold yourself accountable as well as someone else so that you both have some skin in the game. All right. So that is it for this live. I'm going to repost this, and I will also in the caption later link where you can watch this on my YouTube channel as well. Make sure if you didn't while watching this have a notepad out. I want you to go back and rewatch it and go through all the steps that I mentioned so that you can get the best results from this. Otherwise, I hope everyone has an awesome Tuesday. Okay, bye-bye.